So now they're sitting there talking about Joe Flacco not being able to play this. He's got an AC joint sprain, which, by the way, I don't know if you saw. I don't know if this was the specific play in which Joe Flacco got hurt on, but he was doing a goal line sneak. And I think like after a certain age, the goal line sneak needs to leave. Like we don't need you to do that. We have Chase Brown, or the Bengals did. I meant for my fantasy team. You can direct snap to Jamar. I don't care what it is. Don't let that old man do it. And I will not for the life. We're already going to be going up against a backup quarterback, so to speak. Joe Burrow's not playing. When we started the season and we were looking at this stretch being like, we got Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. Probably not going to win those games. But now we've had no Lamar, lost. No Joe Burrow, even with Joe Flacco. Could go either way. Jacob Browning. I don't even want to pretend that it's an automatic if we face Jacob Browning, because we're not in that position yet. We're not that team right now. They can be like, oh, we're playing the backup. We're good. No, we got to go out there and do a lot of good things. But the point of it is like, don't let your old men do quarterback sneaks. There's no need for it. You got to protect them. They're a precious resource, and we've got to protect them at all costs. But anyways, let's get into it. Shane, let's go ahead and start the show.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast with Adam Ray.
It's Hester trying to work it back to the middle. Gets past the first wave, and here he goes. It's Hester inside the 30. Hester's going to take it all the way for a touchdown. And no flag, 92 yards.
The sickest Chicago Bears and fantasy football podcast. Sports entertainment like no other. It's gonna be sick.
It's Wednesday night. You know what that means. It is time for Take It to the Rank. A great night of sports talk, not only in the Bears, because just about over an hour or two, the Tape Never Lies Network will be not joining us, will we be on the air for further film breakdowns of everything that's been going on with the Chicago Bears. In addition to that, we still have AEW Dynamite, which will be coming up in about an hour. And the challenge is still going. I finally started to catch up. Now, spoiler alert to anybody who hasn't seen it, turn down the music for a minute, because it turns out CT and Johnny Bananas already out. Why am I watching still? Honestly, my guys are out. I'm like Nani. Good. Anissa, I guess. Why am I still watching Turbo? It's a bad season. Once the bets like that get out, then you're like, why are we watching? This is why they're needed now more than ever. But I want to thank everybody for being here for Take It to the Rank. A lot of fun. Greg Braggs will not be with us tonight. As I said, listen, I told Nick yesterday, I said I stiffed him on Monday night. There's 100% chance that Greg will find some reason. Oh, I got to go pick up my credential at Purdue. Like, really? They couldn't have mailed that S to you? By the way, why don't you just be like, I wear no credentials when I'm on the campus at Cal State Fullerton. They just know. I go anywhere I want. I was in the president's laboratory the other day, because that's the way that I roll. But in any event, I want to thank you guys for being here. Big game this week against the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm a little concerned about it. And I think Ben Johnson is too, because obviously the Bears they're hurting at the cornerback position. And it is something that, it's costing them a little bit. I mean, Snoop Huntley did not outperform. That was the funniest thing. He outperformed him. Were we watching the same game? Like, I don't think they was outperforming Caleb Williams, but the Bears are very vulnerable. And I think that if you allow a quarterback like Joe Flacco to get some time and some pressure in the pocket there, it's gonna be a big day, which is why it's important that we went out there and got CJ Gardner-Johnson. We signed him. And a lot of people, listen, you can feel however you want to feel about it. I hear the jokes. I make the jokes. I was the one who invented, like, hey, what are they doing playing for 2021? Like, I made those jokes. I am the pioneer of those jokes. So I will sit here and say, like, yeah, like in a normal circumstance, CJ Gardner-Johnson is not like, I don't know, it's not like signing Deion Sanders in 1994 to the San Francisco 49ers, where you knew it was going to be a Super Bowl victory. But for a team that is depleted at the injury, at the cornerback position, it's going to be very significant. And anyway, let's go over real quick though. I want to say hi to everybody. So hey, you guys, jump in. We see Scottish Bear was the first one in today. Say, what's good, Adam? I'll tell you what's good. Look at your next comment. You know what's good. Arsenal won today. Oh, there you go. Arsenal won today. Arsenal's going to win the Prem. They're going to win the Premier League. At least one of my teams is going out there and performing as advertised. We saw today with Arsenal. I won't spend a lot of time talking about soccer. I know how itchy you guys get, but imagine if the Bears, this is how I'll put it. Imagine if the Bears went into a game and they're like, you know what, we're going to play all of our backups, and our backups are still better than your starters. That's what Arsenal is like in the Premier League right now. And one day, maybe the Bears will be like that. Maybe we won't be sitting here rummaging through the trash barrel trying to pick up CJ Gardner-Johnson, who, again, as a veteran guy who's worked with Ben Johnson, who's worked with Dennis Allen, who's had some success. And remember when he got whims to start throwing hands that one time? Like, that is the kind of, like, I don't know, that's the kind of Jamie Tart type behavior that I think that this team needs. We could go out there and have some have a little bit of attitude. Have somebody. I think that the defense is a little feisty. It is a when everybody's healthy and ready to go. We saw it. That's one of the things when I went back. So yesterday we talked with Nick Rohde. We were talking about this, and I don't know if it's the penalties. I don't know what it is. But over the previous couple of weeks, there was a chippiness to this Bears defense. And I don't know if this was stemming from playing at home, if this was the return of Kyler Gordon, which it might very well could have been. But the Bears have a little bit of an attitude. And I like to see that attitude. Jaquan Brisker is one of those guys who kind of holds himself in this way as well. The Bears need to go back to that this week. Because as Robert Nash is saying, I'm not taking Jake Browning for an easy win. I'm not either, Robert. As fun as it is, and I think the Bears are getting better. They're improving each week. I really do believe in the coach's message. I believe in all of it. We are not in a position where we're like, hey, we got the backup quarterback. We're good. That's why it was funny last week when all these people are like, I want to face Lamar Jackson. Like, no, you shut up. We're not there yet. We're not in the like, give us our best. Give us Josh Allen. Like, we're not there yet. We don't want it. We don't need to be delusional. We could also just be like, hey, I wouldn't mind facing your backup. I'm not taking it for an easy win. But if it's Jake Browning, I'm not going to assume it's an easy win, but it gives us a better chance than if Joe Flacco or Joe Burrow is playing quarterback. That being said, it's good that the Bears are going out there and being a little proactive, trying to bring in some veteran. They worked out 7 guys this week, trying to find something because the injuries are starting to mount up. And it was something that Nick was talking about yesterday, talking about the physicality of this team. And there might be something. This is a good theory. This is not my theory, but this is what Nick was talking about on Tuesday's show, is that, the players are now under a new regime where there's a more physical brand of football being played by the Bears. And it's starting to, your body's got to get used to it. You got to start playing a certain way. It's like if you are, I guess I always use golf analogies, but like when you change something with your swing and you start hitting with a different part of the club or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like there's like you do a little tweak, go to the gym and you try a new exercise that you haven't tried before. If you're doing lat pull downs where you've never done lat pull downs before, well, the next day your latissimus dorsi is going to be pretty sore. And I think for the Bears, we might be going through a lot of that right now where these guys are like, damn, we're really physical now. we're really bringing the heat. And I think that it's going to probably take, and this is what happened with the Detroit Lions, it took a full season for everybody to get on board with the physical nature of the team. And I think that's what we're seeing right now with the Bears is that, hey, some of these guys are nicked up. Hopefully it's not long-term. If you saw the injury report on Wednesday, it's like the wide receiver room starting to look really thin to the point that I hope do we still have Tyler Scott's number? Can we call him? I know he just got, I know he was in Seattle for a bit. But at the same time, it's one of those things where the Bears have got to be ready for this kind of football. And it might take a year for everybody to really lock in to the type of physicality that they want to be playing with here in Chicago. I love it. I love everything about it. I love that I still really believe in the fact that Ben Johnson is changing the culture, so to speak. And I know that, and we're sitting there, and I see other people are making jokes, and they're like, "Hey, you were 4-3 last year. You were okay, fine, yeah, that's fair." It still feels different. Still feels different. You know, I when I was thinking about a disappointing loss last year, going up against the Patriots, that was like the Cardinals game and the Patriots loss. Like those were bad losses. Like bad. Like what are we doing? Like losing to the Commanders was like, okay. But at the same time, like when you lost to the Cardinals, when you lost to the Patriots, those were like, what are we even doing here? This is a dead man walking situation. Obviously, we could have played a lot better on Sunday, but still had some evidence of growth from this team to where you're like, look, there are some tangible, and this is Ben Johnson's word, there are some tangible elements that lead me to believe that we're getting better on a week-to-week basis. And I know you all hate when I go to the AYSO messages as well. And but it is like there are times when you're sitting there and you're like, God, like I can sit there and I was watching it, checking everything out, be like, this team is playing so much better. They're putting it all together, and like it hasn't translated yet. And then eventually there is an outpouring that happens. For my team, it was a couple of weeks ago. The girls go out and score 7 goals, you know, whereas before we were, you know, getting blanked or scoring 1 or 2 goals. So there is that's what I'm hoping about right now for the Chicago Bears. By the way, want to let everybody know that fantasy football has just seen one of the greatest inventions. We're talking about Crowned Champs. That's right. Crown Champs just dropped the hottest thing fantasy football has ever seen, a real handcrafted premium championship crown. It's just $2.99 a month per person. You can go to the website, crownchampscompany.com. That's crownchampscompany.com. Rack up points, win weekly challenges, get voted as the king, queen, trash talker, and unlock real life merch. Don't just walk around and tell everybody that you won your fantasy football league. No, you go out and prove that you rule your fantasy football league with Crown Champs and crownchampscompany.com. Also want to give a big shout out to our friends at Huel. Listen, this is what keeps me going through the entirety of an NFL season. Our friends at Huel have the best meal replacement protein powder supplements of all time. I've tried them all. I used to go to Costco all the time, but now I get it from Huel itself. If you go to Huel.com/sickbears, that's Huel.com/sickbears, or use the promo code sickbears. You can get 15% off your first order. Set up a subscription. They'll just deliver it to the house. You don't have to go. You don't have to go and fight the crowd at Costco. Huel will deliver it to your house, and it is the best. The best. And I'm telling you right now, it's like 400 calories, 35 grams of protein. This is everything that you need. So instead of sitting there, stopping, getting a burger and fries, you drink one of these, it fills you up, and you feel great about yourself. You're not just regretting your decisions, like the decision to throw that ball that Caleb did. No, I'm just joking. I want to go here to what Motor City Michael said at 4:06 or 7:06 to those of you on the East Coast. By the way, our friend Shane is doing this for us, and we do appreciate it because He's in Toronto, and he's got a Blue Jays game going on. So we're not going to be here super long tonight because I'm going to get everybody out there. Our Toronto-based podcast team, get him out of there, is signing CJ Gardner-Johnson, a sign that Kyler isn't coming back this season. You know what? I just think that they need to win now. I think what it is like he's on the IR, which means he was going to miss 4 games, missed 1 already. I think it's just like you got to go out, you've got to have depth. And I think that's what the Bears want. And they realize too, like, the playoffs is not out of the realm of possibility. The playoffs are still one of those things where the Bears could make the playoffs. They could. If you look at the playoff picture right now, the Bears are the number 8 seed. They're the in the hunt team. And somebody passed along a clip, because I don't watch this show. This one show that's on some network talking about something, and they were talking about the NFC playoff picture. And the host and his bald counterpart were sitting there, and they're like, the NFC's locked. It's over. Nobody's getting in. Nope. And they started talking, and then they jumped around it. And they mentioned, of course, they'll mention the Commanders or whomever. And they're just, and they like, not one of these two guys would sit there and talk about the Bears. Would be like, maybe the Chicago Bears could get into this thing. Maybe. When you look at their schedule over the next couple of weeks, maybe the Bears get by. Like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't just ignore it. Really random that you would just ignore it. Because, and we talked about this, Ben Johnson even mentioned this, we're probably not going to start playing our best football until December. It takes some time for all of this to start coming together. And this is just part of the process. We are just very blessed that the Bears won some games. We very much could be in a similar type of situation that the Jets are in right now. But I do believe, because the roster is a little bit further along, or Ben Johnson's a better coach, that we've won some games. We won 4 consecutive games, and we're 4-3, and we're above 500. There are people now online who felt like the Bears would be lucky to win 4 games this season. There are plenty of people on the YouTube thing that I do for the NFL Network. People being like, oh, you'll be lucky to win 4 games. Reverse that, Rank. You'll be 6-11. Whatever. I think they're a little bit better than that, with a great opportunity to come back and be a part of this. Robert Nash is talking about this. It's a low risk, high reward signing, talking about CJ Gardner-Johnson. I agree with that too. This is one of those things that I wish we would have done sooner. I wish we would have brought him in a little bit sooner, because we know that it's going to take a little bit of time for all this stuff to come together. And so ultimately, I think it's a good sign. The dirty dog, Jets. It's a 4-letter word. It is. But I feel, I don't know. I sort of hope the Jets aren't, I don't know. I have no reason to hate the Jets. I have nothing against the Jets, other than the fact that I signed Breece Hall and it's been really inconsistent. But you know what? Justin Fields is starting to play well for them. He had a couple of bad games, and the owner got after him. But ultimately, you know what? I pull for the Jets. I have nothing against the Jets. I think they're fine. Nothing against them. Christian Solid. The Bears can make the playoffs if they create 4 turnovers a game, which once again, we depend on the defense for 30 years in a row to win a game. I don't agree with that at all. I legitimately do not agree with that. And I'll tell you why. Obviously, this defense has been predicated on creating on turnovers. It's a good thing. Yeah, they're not getting to the quarterback enough. They do need to go out there and create some things. However, honestly, with everything that happened on Sunday, the offense could have done a better job. The offense could have done a better job of executing. The offense could have gone out there and in those first 2 drives, really gone out there and punched in one of those field goal chances into a touchdown. And obviously the second one, I firmly believe that had the Bears not taken a penalty on, I believe it was third down. They would have gone for it on fourth down. They wouldn't have settled for the field goal. They would have gone for it. Did they try it again? Didn't they try? God, why can't I remember this? Everything's running together sometimes. But like, again, that's one of those instances where they shoot themselves in the foot. And I think that's going to be the biggest issue. I think more so than creating turnovers. I think the defense is fine. I think this week, regardless of who the quarterback is, they do need to go out there and make something happen. They can't just go out there and, play the same game that they played on Sunday. But they got to go out there, create pressure, create turnovers, try to get to Joe Flacco, try to create some turnovers. There's nothing wrong with trying to create turnovers. You hear coaches talking about this all the time. You go out there, you win the turnover battle, you end up winning the game. I get what you're saying, though. You don't want to sit there and rely on like everything's got to be perfect, got to be for. I guess I do see your point, because you are saying that it's relying on the defense because the offense isn't coming through. So maybe we are. I think maybe we are more aligned than we were talking about. But in a sense, you are correct. Like this is a game where the Bears offense needs to go out there and show something, end some drives, go out there and put some points on the board, because it's such a big difference to be up 6-0 as opposed to 10-0. Like that just feels different. 14-0 would have meant that game was over. I would have called that game over. I don't think God bless Snoop Huntley, who got over on us once again. The Ravens are not winning that game if we go up 14-0 off 2 drives. Got to figure out a way to get into the red zone. Robert Nash sitting here talking about this. I hope they did a lot of red zone work this week. I got to imagine it's something that Ben Johnson's really concentrated on. We've seen it. We saw it in the early part of the coming off the bye week, where the run game was not really working. And so Ben Johnson had to go out there and really try to get it up and running, really try to cement that as part of the thing. The one thing I would have liked to have seen on Sunday is not abandoning it so quickly. Like when you're sitting there starting to gash a team, like I feel like sometimes this is an NFL problem as well, is that you will start to see these teams go out there, put together some good stuff, and be like, okay, they're running the ball, they're running real well. And then, you know what, on first down, they get caught. They gain a yard, maybe 2, lose a yard, whatever. And then they're like, Bob, can't run it again. Like then they'll go 40 plays without running the ball again. It's like, no, keep after it. It's just one of those things that like I really wish they would really commit to it and not necessarily just give up on it. The dirty dog is weighing in. The O-line is playing decent. I was disappointed in the lack of creativity from Ben Johnson in the red zone. I was expecting more from his pedigree. I think that's a fair criticism. I think that's fair to say. Again, Ben Johnson is growing in his role just as Caleb Williams is growing in his. Again, it's not going to be perfect in the first 7 games of the season. There's going to need to be some time to go out there and try to get everything sorted and to try to get everything right. You make some mistakes. The first time you ever picked up the sticks and started playing Madden or Super Tecmo Bowl, even old school Tecmo Bowl, John Elway, whatever it is, it took you a little bit. Got to get that rhythm. I love the creativity. I thought about this, and Nick and I talked about this on Tuesday. Going out there, and they busted Colston Loveland open for 26 yards on the first play of the game. You're like, all right, let's go. Like this is going to be the Colston Loveland game. And then again, not really getting on the same page after that. Now going back and looking and trying to see what Ben Johnson was talking about with some things, with some misses or whatever. Like there was a pass where Caleb avoided the rush because DeAndre Swift couldn't handle who he was blocking. Caleb rolls out, throws a tough pass to Roma Dunze. It really was. I believe it was Roma Dunze. It's a tough pass. It's not like just hitting him square in the numbers. Still a catchable ball. We bring in, I don't know, maybe it wasn't Roma Dunze, but you bring in 1 or 2 of those plays Like the whole game changes. Like it's so close. Like it's frustrating in a sense of like the fact that it is so close. We're so close. And again, don't go down there. I know the creativity and everything, but like just going down there and getting everything done, like just not killing yourselves with a penalty or something stupid. I will say this too, because I know that the last play of the game kind of people are talking about that pass, like, hey, did he not continue his route? Did he not do this? Nobody is talking about the fact that that play was rushed. They had to go out there and run that play. Like they had to get it done. They couldn't dawdle. For the life, and again, this is not why the Bears lost. And this is one of the things that really, really irks me. And before I get into this, okay, this is going to be my closing point. I'm going to call this the last word. But before we do that, I want to let everybody know that if you are not going to the Bears game today or this week in Cincinnati, let me ask you, where are you watching the game? And might I suggest the Twisted Shamrock, the place to be for Chicago sports. Whether you're a fan of the Bears, Bulls, Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, Sky, or Fire, you should be watching the games at Twisted Shamrock. They got monster TVs in the private party room, main bar, and outside on their stellar patio. Swing by Twisted Shamrock, where Chicago sports come together. And remember, I will be there December 13th, the night before our game against the Browns. I am going to be there with a meet and greet. We are going to be doing a live podcast that night. We're going to talk to some people. We're going to be out there having a good time. I'm going to insist that we go outside. It's going to end up being like, I don't know, -5. But I'm going to be like, I want to do it outside. But Twisted Shamrock is the place to be for Chicago sports. Well, let me say this. Robert Nash, Rome was third in contested catch rate last year. This year, 73rd. Scottish Bear is going to be home in Scotland. Hey, fly out. No, I'm just kidding. I want to say this. This bugs me so much. This is not necessarily a Bears thing. This is actually a pet peeve of mine that I have with the NFL and their official. I'm not criticizing the officials. This is just, if I was on the competition committee, this is something that I would change. So at the end of the game, we saw Caleb Williams was close. Was he close? Was he not close to getting in the end zone? Now, going back and watching it, I'm like, are we sure he's not in? Are we sure? Now, obviously, I'm a Bears supporter, so I feel like maybe I'm a bit biased. Are we not good at that? And because of that, and because the Bears are rushed, the people in the booth had to make a decision like, just go with it. I know that all scoring plays are reviewed. That language should include whether you scored or not. So a play like Caleb's is, to me, a scoring play because we're trying to determine whether he scored or not. And I'm not saying that just this for the Bears, but if you have this language that all scoring plays are going to be reviewed, then whether you scored or not is in its of itself a scoring play. This is not why the Bears lost. It wasn't the officiating. It wasn't the obvious offensive pass interference on DeAndre Hopkins. Listen, if you're not going out there and executing and playing well, you will never get the benefit of the doubt from the officials. There's the reason why Kansas City gets what is perceived as preferential treatment is that they've got their S together. They're a well-run organization, a well-run team. They get the benefit of the doubt. The Bears will not get the benefit of the doubt until they start winning games. And it's just the way the NFL works, and I wish it wouldn't start. But in any event, I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. We got a dip. These guys got to go watch the Blue Jays. I thank all of you, Robert Nash, Scottish Bear, Christian. Listen, Christian, you're awesome. I agree. The Dirty Dog. Who else am I missing? Bears 2018. All you guys. James. Hey, James. Both sides of the ball are not playing well. You got it, brother. You're absolutely right. But hey, thanks, everyone. Look at all these guys. I know we're going over. We're going Motor City, Motor Music, Michael. All you guys, Mile High Boost, all you guys. Hey, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. Greg will be back next week. We might have a preview. Again, a lot of this is because of my schedule has been wacky this season. Because not only am I doing NFL Fantasy Live, I'm doing the After Hour with Jim Rome, got some added responsibilities at the NFL Network, have a ton of things going on. So we'll hopefully be back soon. But if not, at the very least, we will be back with a review of the game against Cincinnati. But until that time, thank you so much for being here. Bear down. And Shane, go ahead and play us out.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Adam Rank on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.